BT9 Breakdown Part 4 Breaking Down Green. We've heard all the different stories of what Green offers with BT9, and now we're about to finally experience it. Grandis Kuwagamon. If you haven't picked up your promo Grand Kuwagamons or promo Palmons yet, the price should spike here soon enough. Green offers new tools for Green players, and although Green peaked in my opinion at BT4, it saw seldom play during the BT5 through BT7 era, and only until after EX2 dropped did a Green deck finally battle it out to win the Ultimate Cup with Green Hybrid crossed with Terriermon and Rapidmon. As always, if a Digimon has an X antibody counterpart, I'll be referring to it as simply X. In addition, I won't dive too much on the reduction evolution costs, but mainly cover what decks it could potentially be used in. And finally, if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more of my future content. With BT9, the green baby introduced is Motimon. This Digimon gives your Digimon simply plus 1000 DP if it's an Insectoid. I love that Green finally has a generic DP buffer for Insectoid Digimon and doesn't rely on your opponent having suspended Digimon or having to attack an opponent's Digimon directly. The buff applies whether you go into security or not. Now give Green a generic draw. But even with Motimon, a majority of decks will focus more with Yokomon and Gummimon still. Card draw and Digiburst are so prevalent that these are what make or break the deck. With rookies, Elecmon takes the first slot, and unlike red, blue, and yellow, this Digimon is 3 cost and 4000 DP. Again, I don't care too much about these kinds of cards because they're better for sealed play. The inheritables and effects are what I'm here for. Sorry my guy. Kokuamon X provides some general searchability for Insectoid decks. With previous cards simply revealing the top and adding it if it was a green Digimon in the case of Tentomon, Green never truly had gotten any searchability like Tribal Greymon, Garurumon, and even Angel decks. Unfortunately, it's unlikely to ever use its effect when digivolving, for the fact that there is only one Kokuamon available in Green that costs 1 to digivolve into. Definitely expect to run 4 of these. Pomomon becomes the second Digimon as a floodgate against Digimon that play Digimon by effects. Again, Diaboromon decks can't play Diaboromon anymore by card effects, Eosmon the same thing, but the main counter for the current meta will be cards like Imperial Dramon, Ophanimon, and Mastamon. Definitely see this card being run as a 2 or 3 of, moving forward as well. There are a lot of good rookies with Green this set, but now it's time to move to level 4s. Ninjamon is your generic level 4 Digimon that costs 4, and has a Digivolution cost of 2. Again, it's generically good for sealed, but because it's neither an insect, nor is it X antibody, this card won't find a place for me in any of my decks, considering Vegemon has the same stat line and has a Digivolution cost of 1. Kuwagamon X will be one of the first Insectoid X antibody Digimon. This Digimon can digivolve from Kuwagamon for a cost of 0, which there are at least 3 Kuwagamons to choose from. However, there are cheaper Insectoid Digimon that you could use instead of Kuwagamon, even though the piercing is nice. In looking over builds off Digimon meta, this card does not see much play. Instead, the focus is primarily Promo Akuamon for piercing. Akuamon X can digivolve from Okuamon for 0, and when digivolving lets you suspend one Digimon if you have an Okuamon or X antibody in the source. Then, when attacking, you may switch the target to one of your opponent's Digimon. It also reduces the Digivolution cost by 1 when digivolving to an Insectoid Digimon. There's a lot of shenanigans I see with this Digimon, suspending a Digimon and then swinging over it, and then going into a Shivamon at the end of the turn. But really, it's Grand Kuwagamon everyone is going to want. Zamulmon is the last level 5 Digimon, a high-ranking member of the Bagra army that made an appearance in Digimon Fusion. This boy is big and has a cheap Digivolution cost that even makes Piximon look tiny. For vanillas, this is an excellent choice for green and sealed. Grandis Kuwagamon is the main green Digimon that everyone is going to be after if they're playing green. Digivolve from Grand Kuwagamon for 1, and then when digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if the Digimon is attacking, you may switch the target to the suspended Digimon. It also gets 4000 DP on your turn, and end of attack once per turn if you have Grand Kuwagamon or X antibody in the Digivolution sources, you can suspend a Digimon and unsuspend this Digimon. Assuming you go into promo Grand Kuwagamon, you can potentially go for 2 checks after you Digiburst, Digivolve into Grandis, swing, restand, and swing for 2 more checks. The amount of security that you can clear is nutty, and of course, this Digimon has a beautiful alt art to go with it. The last level 6 comes in the form of Dino Tigermon, a Digimon that can Digivolve from Saber Leomon for memory cost of 1. When attacking, if you have a card with Leomon or X antibody, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamer. And once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon or Tamer is suspended, unsuspend this Digimon. Personally, I wish that the when attacking effect prevented the Digimon or Tamer from unsuspending the next turn. This would further help with the hybrid format. This keeps your opponent's memory fixer from just Digivolving into a hybrid and going in for game. Honestly, Dino Tigermon is probably more of a fun card than competitive, but it was still something kinda fun to look into. For options, there is Grand Scissor, which can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then you can unsuspend one of your Digimon to attack an opponent's Digimon for 4 memory. Ground Fang, which is an 8 cost memory option card that can return a suspended Digimon and Tamer to the bottom of the deck. But for 8 memory, that cost is steep. Grandis Scissor is a Digimon counterpart to Gaia Force Zero, but unfortunately there's no memory reductions for having an X antibody Digimon out. While Grandis Kuwagamon is an amazing addition, I still feel the option cards are lackluster and there just needs to be more. But again, this video won't be concluded quite yet without the new promo edition that could be in your box with promo Okuamon. This promo allows you to not only climb into Okuamon X, but it also converts all your opponent's Digimon into a 1 memory gainer when they become suspended through their next turn. But the next best part is Inheritable Piercing. This card will likely be the 4 of that you'll want, and will be what shapes up green decks. What are your thoughts on green cards overall for this set? It's interesting that as I write each of these episodes, the card by card gets shorter, and it feels like certain colors have better support. There's only 3 more videos to analyze for the card by card: black, purple, and the white and multicolored cards. Let me know your thoughts on this video as well. It's something new I wanted to try. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.